Men of Reddit, what's a thing that can be scary about being a man? Being seen as a child predator simply for being a man near children. Whenever I see a child that might be lost, I need to remind myself not to help, no matter how much I want to, because strange man approaching child looks bad to too many people. One day, while shopping with my wife, I noticed a small child without her mother who seemed upset. Ignoring my usual restraint, I approached her to see if she was alright. All of a sudden, her mother emerged from behind a corner, called her over, and gave me a nasty look. I guarantee that had my wife been the one approaching this little girl, she would have been seen as caring and motherly, not evil person who wants to snatch a small child for perverted reasons. This one's a lot less serious than the other answers, but having to be the one to make the first move with a girl is utterly terrifying. I asked the girl I've been crushing on for her number a few days ago, and even though it worked out, I felt like I was about to throw up from all the nerves. Speaking on behalf of my husband, the sheer expectation that he can shoulder everyone's stress. If you are a man with emotional intelligence, people will simultaneously act like you are both a rare unicorn, and that you must take that emotional intelligence and merge it with the men can shoulder it all mentality. This means he's utilized way too often by too many family and friends who don't make any emotional effort. He's asked to manage everyone's drama. He doesn't, but the sheer expectation that he won't burn out simply because he's a man is hard to watch. When your date picks a fight with some random guy in a bar and expects you to defend her trifline. Happened to me. I walked up to the guy and calmly explained that I was just on a date, that I no longer care about her, considering the situation she just put me in, and told him I'm out there. He laughed, we bro-fived and I left. I have no idea what happened to her. The loneliness of it. I've got a small but very close-knit group of friends and family, but even still I sometimes wonder why I'm so unlovable, because I'm still single. People tell women all the time they don't need no man, but for guys, if you're single you're seen as a creep, weirdo or defective in some way. Your whole identity is wrapped up in your job. You weren't born to be a doctor, lawyer, or entrepreneur. You must be some kind of loser. Your industry is laying people off. You're definitely a loser. Your fault for choosing the wrong major 20 years ago. I'm pretty young, but somehow, it still happens. I was playing with my sisters at the park, and we were playing tag. At one point, this middle-aged lady comes up to my sisters and asks if they know me and how they know me and whatever. I come up to her and say, those are my sisters, and she just gives me the stink eye, ignores me, and turns back to my sisters and keeps interrogating them. It was only after my mom came to see what was going on that the lady left. By the way, I'm in middle school and have been mistaken for being 11 years old, so I don't know what that lady thought I was doing. I'm 29 and don't have a girlfriend. My fear isn't so much not finding someone, there's always time for that. My fear is meeting someone I think is the right person, having kids and it doesn't turn out to be the case. My last relationship I got cheated on. She, my ex, spread rumors that I was abusive and violent to hide the fact she's an unloyal person. I had to find out through her best friend messaging me asking me if it was true because I seemed like the nicest person and she wanted to know the truth. I explained and she was shocked. I was shocked. I didn't think she'd stoop lower than she had done already. I'm lucky no one took her serious enough to contact the authorities. You're pretty much on your own. Less of your problems are taken seriously. You're seen as weak if you can't sort them out. You're expected to throw yourself in harm's way at a moment's notice. The courts look at you less favorably, so does a large portion of society. You're seen as a potential rapist and child molester. I love kids, but God forbid I smile at one in public. You're the one who has to be able to sort everything out, even if you sometimes feel like just curling up in a ball and crying. When I was a teenage boy, my sister fell into a river. My dad put his hand on my back and pushed me in after her, saying go get her. Her leg was stuck on something, but I got it free, and she swam back to shore. I, however, was pinned by branches under the water that had somehow gotten around me. There was a whole tree under the surface. I remember looking up to the water surface and seeing the silhouettes of my family members walk away from the edge and thinking no, wait. Long story short, my fight or flight system kicked in, and I scrambled as hard as I could to free myself, and eventually got free, and came up to take the best breath ever. When I was crawling back on the sand, my dad, sister and brother were about 100 yards down the bank. He turned and said, "Come on," and I hurried after, while gagging on water. That about sums up my experience so far. People just expect you to be okay in obviously dangerous situations. I knew guys who drank themselves to death because liquor is easy, but saying I need help is hard. That in some circumstances, you can be blamed of inappropriate behavior, even if you didn't intend for it, and still not be able to justify it. That sometimes you're expected to make the first move or show dominance, like when proposing, or leading a group to do something. That you can get a boner at any second, and if someone sees it, it either becomes a joke or an embarrassment. And if you get hit down there, then you know what happens. Excruciating pain plus a danger of becoming impotent or related complications. As a patriarch, you are financially responsible for your family. For most families in the United States, the man is the primary breadwinner, which means if you suffer a loss of income, your family suffers a loss of lifestyle. So my advice is wait until you're older to have kids, and make sure you spend time with your partner before you have kids to make sure you both fit together nicely. Violating this mistake personally cost me $80,000, 5 years of headache and a foreclosure. I don't know if it is actually scary for me, but awkward and something I overthink. I'm over 6 feet 5 inches, can kind of come off as intimidating due to that alone, but am really just a teddy bear. At my job, I have to walk through a dark alley in a downtown area to get to the parking lot. Lots of times, there are women walking back to go to their cars as well, and then my lumbering loner self is walking behind them. I feel awkward and scared they are going to think I'm going to hurt them, or am going to rob them or something. I'm just trying to get home. I follow farther behind, always act as inconspicuous as possible, which probably makes me more suspicious. Get on my phone, like I'm texting, or act like I'm calling someone, so they can hear I'm far behind them, and not stalking up on them. Maybe it's just my social awkwardness or the fact there is a lot of crime that happens in our town, but I don't want to be seen as a threat by people I would never hurt. You have almost no control over what will happen to your kids if your SO wants to leave or make things up to get them taken away from you. I do not have children, but I have seen terrible things happen to friends who lost their kids, and have read the stories online of men losing their children. A woman can do many terrible things, go to prison for them, and come back out with the possibility of seeing their kids. A woman can say a man is unfit to be a father, even if he is a great dad, and just on word alone, that man may never see his kids again. Also, if a woman becomes pregnant and decides to have the child, the father can say he doesn't want kids, but will still have to pay for them after they are born. If a woman becomes pregnant and doesn't want the child, it doesn't matter if the man says he wants to be a father or even that he will raise it without her help. She can go terminate the pregnancy without any questions asked by anyone. My best friend's ex-wife left him a month after she gave birth to their son. She just left the kid with him and ran off with some other guy. They are divorced, and she all of a sudden misses her son now. She can come see him whenever she wants. If my friend would have left his son with her then decided to come back and see his son, he would have to go through a legal process just in the hopes of being able to see him, and he may not even get that chance. I just think it's really messed up that men have no choice in the matter most of the time. The lack of feeling. I can't remember the last time I was excited about anything. That fluttering that you feel in your chest as well as your mind. I miss the passion of childhood. I miss thinking that something, anything mattered. Or, if it does matter, that I can do anything about it. I miss being able to connect with others and feel that shared sense of wonder and excitement and life. I miss connecting with anything in any meaningful way. I miss being alive. I think men have a kind of pressure put on them that women can't understand. If you're a woman, there will be people there to support and encourage you with whatever you want to do in life or where you end up. Want to have a career? You go girl. Want to be a housewife? That's cool too. You'll probably never be homeless. There are countless organizations and shelters out there to help you with whatever you need. You can also be whatever kind of person you want. You can eat healthy and exercise, or you can get overweight and there'll be a million people telling you you're still beautiful. You can be feminine or masculine. You can wear jeans or dresses. You can freely express whatever emotions you're feeling and not feel judged or ashamed for it. The whole dating experience is not something you do as much as something that happens to you. You just have to sit back and wait to be approached. Relationships are all about what a man can provide for you, what they have to offer. All you have to do is exist. But if you're a man, there is no support. Nobody is going to help you. If you want something, you need to get it yourself, and you have to abide by certain expectations. You need to get a job. Sure, you can be a house husband, but people will just see you as a deadbeat. Sure, you can be sensitive, but only in the sense that you're sensitive to the feelings of others. You have to be dominant, maybe not always full on, but you still have to more or less steer the relationship, even if you don't want to. A man is only allowed to be submissive or passive if he's gay. I think the worst of it is that even bringing this stuff up is against the rules. You can't even be upset about it because it's seen as winny or insecure and therefore unattractive.